Good morning, this is Nicholas from Gandora Gaming, and today I bring you guys something new. With the release of One Piece Rotation and the release of the ban list, I decided to quit One Piece. Now I'm fucking with you. I still have literally hundreds of One Piece decks. However, I decided because we're entering rotation, why not play Pokemon as well? So here we are. We got a Pokemon deck for you. This was my Festival League deck. If you don't know, there's 100 different types of Pokemon, and this is a other game focusing on rotation. And the rotation just started, so I might as well get into another game, see how it goes. This is my Festival Elite deck. It's pretty fun. I've been having a lot of good time with it. Let's just see how it goes. So first things first, this is Dipplin. This is an apple monster. He is the main boss monster of the deck. And basically how it works is that when Festival Lead is on the field, he can attack twice. And basically he gets additional power for every card in your bench. So you can have up to 5 cards in your bench. Plus he gains 20 times that. So he actually hits really, really hard, which feels really good. So he's actually a pretty good guy, especially since he can attack twice, which feels amazing. He's a great card, one of the best monsters in the game when it comes to the Festival Lead archetype. We're also playing, of course, 4 copies of Apple because you had to, or Applin, because you had to evolve him up, which makes sense. Really good card, a really great deck. Next, we're playing 4 copies of Flacky, who is our search card in this deck. So if you don't know Flacky, we don't actually use as an attacker. We're just using Flacky as a search card. So the idea here is that we are playing 4 copies of Grookey to evolve into Flacky. And then because we have a Festival Lead deck, as long as we have a character with the Festival Lead, basically Flacky allows us to search anything in our deck, from Festival Lead to anything, Seeking, whatever you want. This is how you search it, which is really, really strong and really, really powerful. Now, this card does not really focus on hitting. This is a card that usually sits in your bench, which is pretty cool. Next, we're playing 2 copies of Seeking. He's our other boss monster in the deck. We're only playing 2 because it's good, but not the greatest. I tried a pure build with Seeking. It's strong. It definitely has some plays, but I definitely prefer this play. So Seeking has the ability to effectively leads on the field. Not only can he attack twice, but also he draws cards when he attacks. So his attack is weaker than Dipplin's, but basically the idea is that since he can draw 2, the idea is that he can attack twice, kill a monster, and technically draw you 6. Because this is a 1 prize deck. If you don't know, Pokemon revolves around prizes. And basically, unlike One Piece, where your life is only given to you when your opponent takes and kills your characters, in Pokemon it's the opposite. When you kill your opponent's characters, you win your life. And then eventually, when you're at 0 life, you win the game, which is pretty cool. So, Seeking, it just allows you to draw 6, basically, because not only are you drawing 2 off the prize character you kill, because most decks are 2 prize leaders, but it's also just allowing you to draw 2 for each swing. So it draws 2, swings again, draws 2, then you kill a monster, and then you get 2 prize cards, which is pretty awesome. And Goldie is just another Festival Lead starter. It's a really great card. It's great to put into your zone so you can immediately start flacking it out, which is also just really good. We're also playing, of course, the one-of's copy of Raspuska and Roller. This card is basically helping you to protect your bench. When this card is evolved in your bench, prevents all damage from attacks and effects from your opponent done to your bench. So this card protects your bench monsters, which really matters, because the whole point of this archetype is to flood out your back row in order to then have Grokeys and the Spider Dude be protected so that you can just Dipplin and Seeking them out, which is really strong. And then finally, you're playing 1 copy of Badoo because he's like the one floodgate in the deck. Badoo basically says, hey, when I'm up front and personal during your opponent's next turn, they can't play any items, cards from their hand. He's also a free retreat, which is really, really good. So basically, he's floodgating them from activating event cards, which is pretty scary. That is it for the Pokemon. Let's talk about the actual other cards. For the supporters, we're playing 4 copies of Arven. Arven is a really good trainer card. If you don't know, the supporters can only be activated once per turn. And so you need to have the right number. So Arvin's our best one. Basically, he allows us to search an item card and a tool card directly from our deck. However, we can only use one support a turn, so keep that in mind. We're also playing 2 copies of Iona, because Iona is just an insane card. If you are familiar with the One Piece card game, this is the equivalent of Blue Pudding. Basically, each player shovels their hand back into the deck until they draw amount of prize cards they have. So if your opponent has only 2 prize cards left, you shuffle back their whole hand and then they only draw 2, which is kind of crazy. And if you have 6 prize cards, you draw until you have 6. Really great card. We're also playing, of course, 2 copies of Kieran as well. Kieran's just a really good card overall. It basically what it allows us to do is... Oh, that's Lanazade. My apologies. It's a little out of order. So 2 copies of Kieran because Kieran's just a really good card. It helps you switch one of your opponent's monsters. Switch one of your monsters into the from bench into active. Also, it gives you an additional damage boost, which is also really good. We're also playing 2 copies of Boss's Orders, because Boss's Orders allows us to move our opponent's monsters into the bench and then move their important monsters in front so we can kill them a lot easier to help go for game. Really good card. And then finally, we are playing the 1 copy of Lanazade. Put 3 combination of Pokemon that you have in your rule box that don't have any rule box or energy, and then place them into your hand. So this basically just says add 3 back from hand, because none of these cards have the basically the rule box effect, which is really, really good. So that is it for our supports. Let's talk about what we also are playing, which is Festival League, which is our stadium. It's a really great card. It doesn't really do anything on field. However, it does have each Pokemon has an energy attached. Both you and your opponent's recovery from all special conditions, and can't be activated by special conditions. Just like a really weird buff thing. Doesn't really come up that often, but there you go. We're also playing 4 copies of Bug Catcher. This is our first item on the deck. Really great card. This card looks at the top 7 of your deck. They reveal a combination of 2 cards, a basic energy or a Pokemon. They have to be the same type. So in this case, we're probably looking for our grass type. We're playing grass energy. So any of the grass cards, this searches 2 copies of, which is really, really good. They do have to be 2 different cards, but that's still really, really good. We're also playing 4 copies of Buddy Buddy Puffin. Buddy Buddy Puffin is just a really great card in general. Basically, it allows us to put 2 cards that are basic into our bench. In order for Pokemon to play, you have to have cards in your bench. These are your basic Pokemon, the lower evolution ones. So these are your basics. Pretty good card overall. Places 2 from your deck into the bench. We're also playing 1 copy of Item Pad. It shuffles 2 supporter cards from your discard pile back into the deck. So it shuffles back any of these support cards that you already used in the previous turn back into the deck. We're also playing 1 Super Rod, which basically does the same thing. It shuffles 3 combinations of Pokemon or energy back into the deck. And we're also playing Switch, which is just a really good card to help switch our bench out in order to help push for game. Just a really great card there. We're also playing the 1 copy of Counter Catcher. And it's another item that's pretty good. It basically says, hey, you can only use this effect if your opponent has more prize cards remaining than you, but it allows you to switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon to the active spot. So basically, it's another Boss's Orders, and these are basically 2 more copies of Boss's Orders. However, it's not a support, it's an item, so it's a little better. We're also playing 1 Defiance Band as our tool. This card's really good. It says, hey, if you have more prize cards remaining than if your opponent has, if you have more prize cards remaining than your opponent, this attack your opponent attached to this card does 30 more damage, which is really, really good. Helps you push really hard for game, which really feels really awesome. We're also playing the 1 Rescue board. Basically says, hey, you can retreat a cost Pokemon attached to this when 1 cost or less, and then run remaining HP at 30 or less, which is also just really good. Finally, we're playing 1 Technical Machine Support. This is a really powerful card. Basically, what it allows us to do is that it's an item you can place onto your active Pokemon. Then, if that active Pokemon has an energy attached to it, it allows you to basically evolve to your bench Pokemon from deck, but it ends your turn immediately after. Really great card. This is really fantastic, and overall, just amazing. And then finally, we're playing 1 of this card right here. This is our Maximum Belt. It's one of you can play in the deck. It's also a tool. Basically, what you do, you can attach this to a Pokemon. This card attached gives 50 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon before applying the weakness and resistance. Really great card, helps you push for damage even more, helps you kill a lot of things and do a lot of pressure. Overall, really fun deck, really super easy, cheap deck, and yeah, I'm really happy with it. Oh, I should mention also, we're playing 6 copies of Energy as well. So there you go there. That is my Pokemon deck. I'm having a lot of fun with it. I'm still learning. I'm still playing One Piece, still playing Yu-Gi-Oh! But I just wanted to play a different card game as well, because why the fuck not? Anyway, see you on the next one. Bye-bye.